aquí. Hola, hola, bienvenidos a Colombia nos une. Esta es las clases de inglés para el entorno laboral. Mi nombre es Joana López y estoy desde Washington, D.C. Nosotros pasamos esta clase todos los miércoles por aquí, por Colombia nos une, a las 6 de la tarde en Washington, D.C. y a las 5 de la tarde en Colombia, ya que les menciono eso porque cambió la hora aquí en los Estados Unidos este fin de semana que pasó, entonces para que lo tengan en cuenta cada miércoles que va a seguir. Okay. Bueno, quiero darle primero que todo las gracias a Colombia nos une, gracias al Consulado de Colombia en Washington, D.C. Gracias por esta oportunidad y por la oportunidad de también tener otros temas, otras clases que están súper chéveres, súper interesantes para nosotros los colombianos en el exterior. Entonces, si es la primera vez que pasas por aquí, te recomiendo de que mires las otras clases que están poniendo, que sigas Colombia nos une. Y bueno, el tema que les traigo hoy es un tema muy importante. Y hoy es de cómo preparar tu hoja de vida, ¿okay? O resume, y utilizarla en una entrevista de trabajo en los Estados Unidos. ¿Okay? Entonces vamos a entrar en tema por aquí. Okay. Estoy mirando que poder ver los comentarios. Ok, muy bien. Entonces, vamos a empezar con un pequeño repaso a ver si se acuerdan de lo que aprendimos la semana pasada. En caso de que no se acuerden, pueden ir a mi página de Facebook, que es @Maranatha Education Center, o pueden buscarla aquí mismo en Colombia nos une. Entonces, la semana pasada estuvimos viendo making polite requests at work. Eso significa hacer, pedir permiso o pedir un favor en una forma amable, ¿cierto? Eso significa polite, amable, en el entorno laboral, ¿ok? Entonces, the first topic was asking for permission, and the second topic was making a polite request for a favor. So let's see if we remember, okay? So imagine that you're talking to your supervisor, okay? Are you going to ask them, may I leave early, or can I leave early? What would you say to them? Let's think for a minute. What would you say to them? Okay. So here, remember, may is very formal, could is formal, and can is very informal. So in this case, I would say, may I leave early if I'm talking to my supervisor, okay? Now, let's see. This is a review. Esto es un pequeño...
Joana, aún no has compartido pantalla.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second. Thank you. Gracias.
Listo.
Okay, so here, this is a review, un pequeño repaso para pedir un favor, okay? So, imagine that you're talking to a coworker, un compañero de trabajo, okay? Le vas a decir, could you please bring me some coffee? O le vas a decir, will you bring me some coffee? What do you think? Do you remember what you guys learned last week? Let's see. Okay, so remember, would is very formal, could is formal, can is less formal, and will is even less formal. So if we're at work, si estamos en el trabajo, you should say, could you please bring me some coffee? Okay, si quieren repasar, pueden ir a la clase pasada y pueden, ahí estuvimos mirando más ejemplos y diferentes formas de pedir favores, okay? So today we're going to be talking about your resume, okay? En Colombia le decimos la hoja de vida, pero en otros lugares le dicen el currículum, ¿cierto? So why is it important? I don't know. Let's see. So number one, it highlights your accomplishments, okay? So in your resume, you want to show the employer why you are a good option to them. Why are you a good asset to them? Okay. Number two, it serves as a writing sample. Okay. Your employer is going to be looking at your resume to see how you write in English, okay? So we have to make sure 100% that you proofread your resume, that you make sure all the words are spelled correctly. This is really important to get, to make a good first impression for your employer, porque en estos días casi todas las aplicaciones van en línea. So we have to make sure that this is the best writing, okay? And then number 3, it shows your ability to pay attention to details, okay? Y vamos a tener una práctica ahorita para ver si ustedes pueden encontrar los errores en un resume que hice aquí de mentirita, para que vean, a ver si ustedes pueden pay attention to details, ponerle atención a los detalles, okay? So here we go. So on the first section of your resume, this is called the header. Can you repeat that? Header, okay? Header, it's like the title, okay, with your name, full name. And I say this because in the United States, a lot of times people drop one last name, a middle name, but we need to make sure that our name is the same as it appears in all of our documents. So in your passport, anywhere, if you have 4 names, you want to make sure that it's 4 names everywhere you go. Y les digo esto de consejo porque se vuelve se pone bien confuso cuando en un documento tienes solamente María Martínez y en el otro tienes María Martínez Mercado y en el otro tienes Marcela Mercado. Se vuelve bien confuso, okay? So in the header, we also have like general information, like your location, okay? Some people like to put their address. I don't recommend it because you're sending your resume to different companies. So not everybody needs to know your personal address where you live. I like to put the city and the location, the state where I'm at. So I can say Fairfax, Virginia. You can say Queens, New York, anything like that, okay? Phone number, you should put your phone number in the header, okay? And I like to separate my information with this line over here. So your email needs to be a professional email, okay? And my recommendation is that you open a Gmail account. Why? If I have Hotmail, if I have AOL, right? But it still works. Why should I change it? Well, there's many reasons. Number 1, with Gmail, okay, a lot of people have Gmail now, and when they share documents or they share just general information, your Google Drive it's easy to share that information using your Gmail account, okay? Entonces, pero si tienen como por ejemplo Hotmail, a veces no pueden ver el documento, pero no lo pueden editar. So please open a professional email with Gmail, okay? So you can use that to find a job, okay? Perfect. So number 2, experience, okay? And I'm writing experience. I'm not writing your work experience. I'm saying experience. Why? Because it could come from previous jobs, okay, where you got paid, where you got money, or it could be volunteer work, right? Maybe you volunteer at an organization, or maybe at your church you did some work, right? This all counts as experience, okay? So just know and make sure that you can actually write experience here, okay? Any kind of experience, okay? So here's an example of how I like to list experiences, okay? So for instance, I write the job title, okay, título de trabajo. I write the name of the company and the location, okay, right next to it. And then I put the dates all the way to the right, okay? Right under it, I put the job duties, okay? Notice if this job is from before, in the past, all my verbs are going to be in the past. So I need to make sure when I proofread that all the job duties are listed in the past, if it's from the past. So I greeted customers politely. Okay, that's in the past, greeted. But if I'm working in this place today, right now in the present, then I can write the verb in the present tense. Okay, this is something that employers look for when they're hiring you. They want to make sure that everything makes sense, everything that you write. Okay, so here we go. But I was going to tell you something else about this. Your experience. Okay, if it comes back to my mind, I'll bring it back. Okay, so then education, certifications, and licenses. Again, education, certifications, and licenses. Okay, so this does not have to be only a college education. It can be a certification, it can be a license. Okay, so you should start with the title of the degree or certificate that you got. Okay, so this is a very common certification here in the United States. People get these at different schools or programs, and it's called the Home Health Aid Certification. Okay, and then right under it, you put the name of the institution where you got this degree or this certification, and the location, and then the dates. Okay, can you put education that you got in your country, in Colombia? Of course you can. Okay, of course, just make sure that it's translated and that it makes sense to someone who is living here in the United States. Okay, so if I'm going to say I have a bachelor's degree, I'm not going to write career in education, que sería una carrera en educación, right? In Colombia, we understand una carrera, right? 4 or 5 years. But in the United States, it's very clear. It's a bachelor's degree. So this is how, to give you an idea, okay? When you go to a community college, okay, you actually get an associate's degree. That takes 2 years, okay? If you go to a college or a university, that usually takes 4 or 5 years and you get a bachelor's degree. If you go to a graduate school or a university, right, that can take 2 additional years, 2 to 7 years. And if you're getting a master's degree, then you put a master's degree. But if you're getting a PhD, a doctorate, then you can write PhD or doctorate candidate there too. Okay, so that's that about education. If your GPA is higher than 3.5, okay, GPA means grade point average. Esa es como la calificación general que dan aquí en los Estados Unidos, y va hasta el 4, okay, del 1 al 4, okay. Only if it's 3.5 or higher, you put it there. Okay, if your GPA is 2.0, don't put it there. You don't need to put it there. Okay. Now here you can put any awards. Okay, cualquier premio que hayas recibido, cualquier beca que hayas recibido, okay, cualquier proyecto especial que hayas hecho que sea relacionado con lo que estás aplicando, you should put it here. Okay, so you can see that there. Let me check here. Okay, and then number 4 is skills. Okay, so skills can be many things. Okay, but this would be the skills that employers are looking for here in the United States. Okay, one of those is called soft skills. Okay, that can be things like being a creative thinker, able to work in teams, or have great time management skills. Okay, these skills you don't learn in school. Okay, so my recommendation is that if you're going to college or an university, great, but make sure you also go and do volunteer work, or you actually work somewhere, because these soft skills, okay, you get when you're working, when you actually are one-on-one with the client, with the supervisor. These skills, they don't usually teach you in school, okay? And if you say that you have great time management skills, no lo podemos poner solo porque se ve bonito. You have to show examples, okay? So if you're in an interview, they can ask you, what are some of examples of how you have time management skills? Tienes que poder dar un ejemplo. So I can say, I have a to prioritize to-do list que les enseñé a hacer la semana pasada o antepasada. So they can see that, okay, this person really has great time management skills, okay? Aquí no se puede inventar, okay? Computer skills, okay? This would be Microsoft Office. If you're in the marketing field, it could be using Canva, Photoshop, or different. It depends on what you want. What is your field of work? Okay, and then languages. They should be listed, right, with the level of fluency that you have. So for example, Spanish, you're fluent, okay? And English, you're intermediate, right? It is very important that you say the truth here, okay? Because they might ask you, okay, your English is intermediate? Good. Let me have a conversation with you. And if you have a basic level of English, they're going to see it. So we need to make sure that we tell the truth here. Okay, perfect. These are some examples of soft skills, okay? It could be clear communication, listening skills, self-control, positive attitude, assertiveness, conflict resolution, empathy, depersonalization, taking responsibility, and a sense of humor. Okay, I added an article here if you're interested in learning more about soft skills and what they mean. Right, you can go to this article and read more information about it. Okay, esta presentación la voy a poner aquí. Bueno, en Facebook de Maranatha Education Center. Cuando comparta este video, voy a poner ahí el enlace de esta presentación para que ustedes tengan acceso a toda esta información, ¿ok? Voy a hacer un paréntesis, ¿no? Aquí en español, estos soft skills, estas habilidades, no se aprenden en la escuela, ¿ok? Y ahorita mismo las personas que quieren contratar, ellos, o sea, estas cosas que están aquí, de verdad que son súper importantes, ¿ok? ¿Por qué? Porque se están dando cuenta que mucha gente no tiene alguna de estas habilidades. Entonces, si tú sabes que necesitas trabajar en clear communication, you can take a course, you can take a class. If you need to work on having a positive attitude, go and read a book about it. Go and see how you can improve these skills, because this is going to help you get that job, okay? Okay. So tips for using your resume during an interview, okay? So son consejos. So number one, okay, you should research the company and position you are applying to. Why? Because when we are writing our resume, okay, we want to make sure that it reflects what they're looking for, okay? I can give you an example, okay? Personally, I have made like a long resume with all my job experience, with all the things that I've done, okay? But I copy some of the things that I've done, and I may change some of the job duties, or I may change some of the information in my job responsibilities to make sure that they reflect the position that I'm applying to, okay? This is something really important, okay? Because, and that's number 2, add relevant experience or transferable skills only, okay? ¿Qué significa esto? Relevant experience and transferable skills, okay? Puede ser de que yo esté queriendo aplicar a un trabajo de, no sé, de office assistant, okay? Pero yo trabajé en una oficina de dentista y ahora les tengo ese ejemplo. Voy a poner en mi descripción de job duties cosas que sean, que tengan que ver con el trabajo que yo quiero hacer. Okay. And it takes practice for you to do this, but it's doable, I promise. Okay. And then number 3, proofread your resume many times. Proofread means you read it. Sometimes you can print it. You can ask a friend or someone else for them to check if there's any mistakes in your resume. This is something that people sometimes they don't like to do it, but it will help you get your resume in the best way or the best version of your resume. Okay. Then you should make sure that you're consistent. Okay. Any information that you give should be consistent with dates, with just general information. Okay. And then you should use your resume to answer interview questions. Okay. So if they ask you, can you give me an example of how you are a good time manager? What are you going to do? You can say, well, when I worked at Maranatha Education Center, I used to come in the morning, do a to-do list, and start tackling items that were prioritized. So I'm using my resume to actually give examples of the interview questions, right? And then explain gaps, okay? So for instance, if you have a gap, okay? So maybe you didn't work for 1 year, maybe you didn't work for 2 years. You should be able to explain why you didn't work those 2 years, okay? So maybe, you were taking care of a family member. Maybe you were going through maternity because you had a baby and you wanted to spend the first few years with your baby. It's good. All you have to do is be able to explain those gaps, okay? So gaps significan como cosas que hacen falta, que no tienen sentido. Si dice que trabajaste 3 meses en este lugar, luego 2 meses en este lugar y luego 5 meses, ¿por qué no duraste tanto tiempo en esos trabajos? Tienes que poder dar una buena respuesta para poder explicar esa información, ¿ok? Okay, perfect. So mistakes on your resume show. So today we're gonna practice noticing some of the mistakes that you might have on your resume. Okay. Number 1, if you have mistakes on your resume, it shows lack of interest in the position. Okay. If it can show lack of attention to detail. Okay, which means that you're not interested in the position. Lack means no, falta de interés en la posición. Or lack of attention to detail, que hace falta de atención a los detalles, okay? Which is something that you need to make sure that you have, right? All right, so let's see here. Okay. So I have an example here of a resume, okay? It's all put together, and I need your help. I need your help proofreading this resume, okay? I want you to notice some things, okay? So let's read it. We start off with the name, the header. We have the location, phone number. We have an email. We also have the experience here listed. We have education. We have the GPA, the dates. We also have some skills. Okay, so let's see if you can help me find some mistakes here. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to find out. Okay, let's see here. Okay, great. So we have here the first mistake. So you see that email, it says sexycat@gmail.com. Is this a professional email? I don't think so, right? So we need to make sure we have a professional email, okay? Make sure you don't have anything like funny or, something like from AOL, or try to have a Gmail account and make sure that it's professional, okay? So experience. Let's see here. Do you see that the dates are like all the way to the middle? If we want to make sure we're consistent, so make sure that the dates all go all the way to the right, if that's what you want to do. It just needs to be consistent, okay? Mistake number 3, greet customers. Why is this a mistake? Porque la persona trabajó hasta el 2020, o sea que fue en el pasado, pero el verbo que tengo aquí dice saludar clientes, ¿ok? Entonces, como si estuviera todavía haciéndolo. So it should be greeted customers, okay? And then let's see here. Mistake number 4, which is your GPA, 1.8, okay? Si es mayor que de 3.5, lo pueden poner. Cualquier cosa que sea menos de eso, don't put it, okay? And then here, it says that you got a best grade scholarship, okay? Is this truth? If my GPA is 1.8, why am I getting a best grade scholarship? It makes no sense, right? So we need to make sure things that you put in your resume make sense, okay? And then here, computer skills. And then there's nothing. I didn't write anything, okay? So this is a big problem. We want to make sure that we add computer skills when we have that section there, okay? And then the last mistake, it says Chinese, basic. Why did I put it as a mistake, okay? Because if the person tells you, oh, you speak Chinese, like basic Chinese, they can get someone on the phone to test your Chinese. And if you're lying, it's not true that you speak a little bit of Chinese, they will find out very quickly. And they will probably tell you, okay, no, thank you. I don't want you to work here, because that means you exaggerated or you're just not telling the truth. Y una de las cosas más importantes es que cuando estamos contratando a alguien o buscando trabajo es la honestidad, que todo lo que salga aquí sea verdad, que lo podamos comprobar, okay? Great. So here, this is a good example of a resume, okay? Este es como una plantilla de una hoja de vida de aquí de los Estados Unidos. La pueden usar, okay? Yo le voy a poner la presentación en mi página de Facebook y simplemente la copian o la usan directamente de ahí, la pueden usar. Some of the things that I notice is all the dates go all the way to the right. All these titles, experience, are bold and underlined, right? And then all my skills or categories are bold, okay? Entonces hay consistencia, todo se ve organizado, okay? What else can I tell you here? Yeah, I think you can see the different things here. And here's an example. This is part of my resume, okay? So here I have my name, which is bigger. I have the area. I have my email, phone number. I have my education with the title, my GPA, my awards or scholarships that I got, okay? And then here I have a list of certifications and affiliations. So these are all my certificates. I can list them there. And then experience, I put the job title, and then the name of the organization that I'm working at, location, and dates. And then for your job duties, you should have at least three job duties listed. Okay. Now I'm still doing this. This is in the present. So I'm putting all these verbs like manage, interview, create, as like in the present because I'm doing them now, right? And then for my skills, I wrote languages fluent in English and Spanish. And then because I have my area of expertise is in reading, I put some skills that are specific for reading. Okay, so if you have a lot of skills related to marketing, for instance, you can actually add them here and say marketing skills that are only useful for that field. Okay, so I hope this example is helpful. I want you to know that this is not everything. I have a long list of all of my experience, but when I'm applying to the job, I make sure I read the description and I only pull the things that are related to that job position that I'm applying to. And make sure that your resume, when you're applying, try to make it only 2 pages. Okay, that 1 page or 2 pages the most. Okay, if you can. Okay, so here is a quote. It says, "Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Okay, so if you're going through a tough time right now, if you're worried about getting a job or your business, anything like that, try not to worry. Just do as much as you can for that day, and then tomorrow we'll have other things that you need to worry about. Okay, we need to make sure that we put everything that God in the hands of God, and we just keep working and moving forward with a positive attitude. Okay, so that was it for today. I hope you guys liked the lesson. I hope that this was useful. Toda esta información la voy a poner de nuevo en el Facebook, en la página de Facebook. And I see you next week. Remember, we meet on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. in Washington, D.C., 5 p.m. in Colombia. All right. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you next week. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.